This course is sponsored by Prudential Financial. We would like to thank Prudential Financial for their generosity in making this course possible.
Finding where to park, the waiting room, stepping into that foreign office, sitting in the hot seat, meeting a stranger for the first time. That's what their face looks like. Did my shirt wrinkle? Do I sit now? Do they sit? I wonder what their first question will be. What if I forget to make the connection between my previous jobs and this one? Will I fit in here? An interview seems like such a simple thing. It should be easy to answer questions about yourself. But to many of us, it can feel difficult and cause anxiety. It can also be thrilling, the prospect of a new role, maybe a career change, a new challenge. It is easy to get caught up in small details and hone in on certain points. It is easy to lose sight of what the interviewer is seeking, the big picture, your story. Hello, I'm Brian Alvarado, the Deputy Director of Workforce Development on the Military Spouse Team at Hiring Our Heroes, a program of the United States Chamber of Commerce Foundation. This initiative is dedicated to impacting military spouse unemployment and underemployment through HOH's overarching strategies of peer-to-peer networking, professional development, and employer engagement. Welcome to the course, Interviewing and Telling Your Story for Military Spouses. In this course, you will learn to 1. Identify pivotal professional moments that shape your story. 2. Develop your story to be written and spoken. 3. Explore techniques and methods for how to tell your story to use it to your advantage. And 4. Gain confidence in telling your story during phone, video conference, and in-person interviews. As a military spouse, you have unique and invaluable abilities, skills, and potential that are specific to you. To discover and express exactly what that is, let's take a step back and hear one military spouse's story.
I launched my career a month after high school graduation and worked my way through college in my chosen profession, earning my hard knocks. Plans changed when I became a military spouse a year after college graduation. My career became the lower priority as I sacrificed my own for my spouse's military one. Being a military spouse, changing jobs as expected, and I managed work and parenting through deployments and separations. My job choices were often limited, especially if we weren't being stationed near a major hub, and I tried to make the best of it, even if that meant being underemployed, overqualified, and passed over for promotion. Just about the time when I got established, felt like I was an effective employee and had gained skills and honed others, it seemed I had to move. With each move, I lost seniority and a feeling of forward momentum, but I kept at it, knowing that one day we wouldn't be in the military, and I would have garnered a solid work history so my career could take off.
As we learned from Victoria's story, military spouses often take a backseat to their military member's career. She has had a real struggle and desire for career recognition and progression as she has moved around. Whenever you land your next job interview, taking the time to recollect your own story will help you to figure out the best way to position yourself with a potential employer and be able to edit it down to your elevator pitch. Translate your skill set and identify your capacity. If you have a pen and paper handy, try to write out your career journey. Write whatever has left an impression or is significant to you. You are in charge of your narrative. Don't worry if it's too long. Now that you wrote out your narrative, it's time to identify your capacities. Looking at Victoria's story, we can pick out her capacity. She can pivot and is adaptable. She has a growth mentality wherein she is open to acquiring new skills to serve her employer. She is a team player, sees the big picture, and is quick acting. These are all exceptional qualities that demonstrate a rich capacity for growth, innovation, and creativity. Highlight your qualities first, then your skills. Just because you don't have a specific skill doesn't mean you don't possess the qualities to acquire and excel at that skill. There may be things you never thought to bring up in an interview. You may undersell yourself if you think you aren't fully qualified and miss out on highlighting translatable skills. This is why it helps to look at your story and pick out your capacities. Qualities that are inherent to every position you hold, such as strong work ethic and flexibility. During periods of separations and transition, multitasking is required to carry the load of household, personal, professional, and family responsibilities. Well, to an interviewer, that demonstrates an impressive ability to multitask, keep communication channels open, project manage, approve projects, and stick to tight timelines. If, due to frequent moves, you couldn't expand in a job and so feel stuck at an entry-level position, you may be tempted to minimize the work involved. This is especially helpful to consider if you are already in the workforce and are job hunting or are re-entering the workforce. We go into depth on that topic in another course in this series called Re-entry into the Workforce for Military Spouses. Keeping the big picture. The power of telling your story is that it can't be rewritten by a question posed in an interview. Your story gives a complete picture that can't be reduced to one or two questions. So, if you find yourself stuck on a question that an interviewer poses, you can reference the big picture of your narrative and bring the conversation to a place where you are confident and comfortable. When you oversee your narrative, you guide the conversation towards your strengths, abilities, and value. Rewrite your story. Now that you have identified all of your marvelous and unique capacities and qualities, it's time to rewrite your story. The first time you wrote your story, you may have included the raw challenges and emotions surrounding your journey. This is good. It helped to get the heartbeat that will pulse through this second draft. In this second draft, structure your story with your capacities, qualities, and translatable skills as the framework. In this draft, there are no mistakes, only resilience. There are no basic positions, only stepping stones that helped you grow and expand to a place of great strength and vitality. This is how you, as the hero of your narrative, overcame every obstacle to be where you are today. Your future employer will never hire someone as uniquely qualified as you. How would you weave your own story into a job interview? There are many ways to approach this. One way is to use the STAR interview method. STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, and Result. This method will help you prepare clear and concise responses using real-life examples. You can read more about this method on Indeed.com. Indeed also published a comprehensive list of interview questions to help you tell your story while effectively answering an interviewer's questions in 125 common interview questions and answers with tips. For this course, we don't have time to go over all 125, but here are 5 to help you develop some compelling talking points during your next job interview. 1. Tell me about yourself. Indeed says to start out by giving them an overview of your current position or activities. Then provide the most important and relevant highlights from your background that make you most qualified for the role. 2. How would you describe yourself? Indeed recommends that when an interviewer asks you to talk about yourself, they're looking for information about how your qualities and characteristics align with the skills they believe are required to succeed in the role. 3. What makes you unique? Indeed says that employers often ask this question to identify why you might be more qualified than other candidates they're interviewing. To answer, focus on why hiring you would benefit the employer. Since you don't know the other applicants, it can be challenging to think about your answer in relation to them. Addressing why your background makes you a good fit will let employers know why your traits and qualifications make you well prepared. 4. What are your greatest strengths? Indeed says this question gives you an opportunity to talk about both your technical and soft skills. To answer, share qualities and personal attributes and then relate them back to the role for which you are interviewing. And 5, what are your greatest weaknesses? Indeed's tip for answering this interview question is to start with the weakness and then discuss the measures you've taken to improve. This way, you're finishing your answer on a positive note. So, you have a chance to knock the interviewer's socks off here with a response that shows that you are professional enough to admit that you are not perfect, but also that you acknowledge the weakness and are taking steps to improve. For example, I found early on in my career that I needed help with public and professional speaking. I was terrible. My nerves were shot anytime I had to speak to people I did not know. I had nervous tics, like tucking my non-existent hair behind my ears and saying more than any other words coming out of my mouth. So I took the advice of a colleague and joined Toastmasters, an organization that gives you an opportunity to practice public speaking, improve your communication, and build leadership skills. To this day, I still participate so that I am always improving on what once was my greatest weakness in business. As Victoria can tell you, she can identify with response number 5 and my story.
Improving my own professional speaking skills also gave me the confidence to speak up for myself in the workplace. It's all about working smarter, not harder, to achieve that coveted work-life balance. Telling my story helped me remember where I started so I know where I want to go. This will prepare me for my future job interviews because if you really think about it, we're also interviewing potential employers to see if we can work well together.
To recap, telling your professional story is your opportunity to show job recruiters and hiring managers the positive impact that your experience as a military spouse has had on your career and how that experience can benefit their workplace. We hope that you have gained some knowledge on how to tell your story and how to leverage that in a job interview situation, whether that is in person, on the telephone, or on a video conference platform. Thank you so much for taking the time to take this course, and thank you for your unique contributions to both our workforce and our nation. We encourage you to take all of the courses in this series and to take advantage of other resources available to you, such as Amplify, to help approach your next job interview with confidence.
Thank you for taking the time to learn about this important topic and about our nation's military, veterans, and their family members. If you have any questions about this course or need assistance, please visit the PsychArmor website or call the PsychArmor support line at 844-779-2427.